Hello, I'm Claudia, and here is my video about content-based approach. We will start talking about the difference between method and approach. Method was described as an overall plan for systematic presentation of language based upon a selected approach, while approach is a set of assumptions dealing with the nature of language learning and teaching. I understood that approach is what you are going to teach. That is what aspect of the language you will focus on, for example, vocabulary, grammar, etc., and this is more general. Whereas methods is the way you are going to teach language, what materials you are going to use, how you are going to work, etc. This is more specific. Content-based instruction. CBI refers to an approach to second language teaching in which teaching is organized around the content or information that students will acquire rather than around a linguistic or other type of syllabus. Well, this is an approach to language teaching that focuses not on the language itself, but rather on what is being taught through the language. That is, the language becomes the medium through which something new is learned. Students learn language best when there is an emphasis on relevant, meaningful content rather than on the language itself. During the lesson, students are focused on learning about something. Procedure. Content-based instruction refers to an approach rather than a method. No specific techniques or activities are associated with it. At the level of procedure, teaching materials and activities are selected according to the extent to which they match the type of program it is. Richards, Quasin, Stryker, and Lever. Once the students understand the process of learning, they take an active role, that is, they become part of what they are learning. Learners themselves may be sources of content and joint participants in the selection of topics and activities. This approach involves the teaching of multiple skills simultaneously. Just as in the real world, the students do not depend on the teacher to control the learning experience. Models. There are different ways of this approach can be identified. The first one is theme-based language instruction. In this model, the syllabus is arranged around themes or topics. The second model is called sheltered content instruction. And finally, adjunct language instruction. All the models mentioned derive from content-based instruction since they involve an active participation of the students in the exchange of content. Types of activities. You can choose, well, you need to choose topics of interest to students. Uh, you can also integrate skills, for example, reading, writing, speaking, and listening in natural classroom activities. Also, you can use task-based activities and project work enhanced by cooperative learning principles. Finally, you can culminate in synthesis activities. Knowledge is displayed in writing and orally. Moreover, the materials that facilitate language learning are the materials that are used typically with the subject matter of the content course. Pros and cons. The former. Language learning becomes more interesting and motivating. CBI offer a wide educational knowledge to learners in the form of the different topics instructed. It helps students to develop valuable study skills such as note-taking, summarizing, and extracting key information from texts. Mm, and finally, developing collaborative skills, especially when using group work, which can have great social value. The latter, CBI implicit language instruction can confuse learners and may give the impression that they are not actually learning language. Overuse of native language can be a problem in some parts of the lesson. And finally, finding information, sources, and texts at lower levels can be difficult. My conclusion. Oh, well, from my point of view, this approach would be suitable for ESL classroom because it will give us freedom to choose the content of the course. I would be honest, at the beginning it was hard to understand this approach, but at the end I got that in this method we design classes not as the traditional English classes, but rather we focus the content on a specific subject. For example, if we want to teach past simple, we can start talking about an specific historic event. Well, that's all, and here is my references. Thank you so much.